The inspiration of my book, Talking Politics with Jesus, came in a veterinarian's office. I happened to be reading John Howard Yoder's Politics of Jesus. The vet noticed this and asked, was Jesus a liberal or conservative? Now, the answer to that question is unclear, for Jesus would be critical of every political system. But it's clear that the Sermon on the Mount takes politics seriously and sees no conflict between faith and politics and spirituality and activism. For Jesus, the personal is the political and the political is the personal. Jesus knew how the institutions we're part of could either heal or harm, give life or create death. Everything Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount shapes our spiritual values and invites us to affirm the interplay of grace and responsibility in our lives. It also impacts our political involvement, economics, and understanding of history. As we read the Sermon on the Mount, it's important to remember its socio-economic context. Although Jesus affirmed the political and spiritual wisdom of the prophets, he never experienced one day in his life as a free person. A Roman soldier could require his services without notice or argument. Jesus could never determine his political destiny or protest injustice without putting his life at risk. He was living a life similar to people in dictatorships today. Worse yet, Jesus came from the peasant working class and grew up at the mercy of economic forces beyond his control. From that background of poverty, of powerlessness, Jesus saw the plight of outcasts and outsiders, seen as nobodies in his society, seen as people of no religious or political consequence. He saw that, he empathized with it, and he welcomed the outsiders, the marginalized, the unclean to his table. His healing power was given to everyone. The Sermon on the Mount, from the perspective of process theology, is a manifesto of spiritually grounded ethics that invites us to see all our decisions in light of God's vision of shalom. When Jesus tells us, you are the light of the world, he proclaims our partnership with God in healing the world. He tells us that healing the world is the responsibility of everyone, and that there's no cheap grace. Faith without works, as the Epistle of James says, is meaningless and in fact dangerous, as we see in the nation-first, anti-democratic, and racist attitudes of many conservative Christians, and the alliance of capitalist greed with Christianity in the USA. A process perspective on the Sermon on the Mount aligns itself with Jesus' vision. Put God first. Align yourself with God's realm on earth. Then let your life speak in life's transforming, socially healing, and politically inclusive behaviors, living on earth with the values of heaven.